What's good, y'all? This your boy Anime Mega Reviews, and I know it's been a long time since you guys have heard my voice. Maybe I think it was September was the last time I dropped a vid, but don't worry, guys. I'm back for good now. Had to take some rest, got a new job, and everything's going pretty good right now. So let's get right into this chapter because even though I haven't been dropping a review, I still be keeping up with Black Clover. So our boy Asta, he's at the top of a mountain. He's getting ready to do his new attack. And the one thing that I love about this design is that it just screams Yami, like so much influence from Yami. Everything about Asta, his posture, it's just so beautiful. Like, and it also is a callback to his fight with Noct, where he actually did use his attack and purposely missed Noct to avoid killing him. So obviously he's going to use a full force frontal attack on Lucifero in his half manifested form. And right here we actually get a flashback where we see our boy Yami. I'm not too exactly sure, is this a flashback of when he actually got captured by Xenon and when he's fighting against Dante. And right here we see this cool little shot right here where Asta and Libe are pretty much like side by side. So it's really cool to see that as well. And just see that Asta and Libe, like, just to think that literally a few years ago, we had no idea who the anti-magic demon was. And all of a sudden, him and Asta are like the best of buddies. And I like to see this earlier in the series as well. Not necessarily like what we saw with Naruto, where Naruto and Kumaro were actually friends towards literally when the series was about to end. So it's good that we see this cohesion with Asta and Libe. I don't know why I was about to say Libe, but Libe. So I'm actually, pretty excited to see this. So anyway, let's get moving forward with this review because there's so much more just to talk about. It actually got my skin crawling, like goosebumps, for real. Here we get the double spread page. And let me just say this. This is definitely my favorite transformation in Devil Union mode. It is so awesome. It just screams like samurai. I mean, Yuki Tabata, he really did an amazing job with this design. He needed that 2 weeks because I was curious as to see how this design would really be. And this is like my favorite. You even see that it also kind of reminds me of Noct's form as well. I think it's the cat demon where Noct had like those two things coming out of his neck, similar with Asta, what we see here. Also, the wings are more kind of like aerodynamic, so it's pretty good to see this. So right here, we see our boy Asta getting ready to attack using this anti-magic dimension slash. We see Lucifero in this worm form, and I know that a lot of fans have been criticizing it, and to be honest with you, I kind of expected more from Lucifero, even in a half manifested form. Of course, we would like to see him more in like a humanoid form because that would be pretty awesome to see, but I am crossing my fingers because we never know what Yuki Tabata might do. Even though this appears to be the end of this arc, I'm kind of having my doubts about it, but let's just focus right here on Asta in this shot right here. I mean, my gosh, this is so beautiful. Like, imagine when this is like animated and we get the color and all that. It's going to look so awesome. And right here, we see this final attack, literally slashing through Lucifero, cutting him in half. And just the design, everything. The design is pretty good. I like the double spread that we're getting right. I think this is a double spread. I could be wrong. I gotta actually it's not a double spread, guys. It's wrong about that. But the art is pretty good. I have no complaints about it. Some people are also wondering what are these two orbs in the back that we see with Lucifero. So that may actually, what we may get to find out later, as far as like the next chapter, as far as what were those two orbs. My suspicion is that these are actually is where Lucifero's hearts were actually going to be, because we're so familiar with demons having the hearts inside of their body, but this may be something new right here. Like, those two orbs aren't there for no reason. We know that Yuki Tabata, he does things for specifically, maybe foreshadowing is what I really want to say, but this attack right here, the Asta lands, the art is amazing. Kudos to Yuki Tabata and his team. Yeah, he needed those 2 weeks. I just got to say this again. Guys, look, I'm gonna have to say this. This is probably one of my most favorite chapters of Black Clover because we see just a culmination of all the training that Asta's had from Yami and Noct and just the journey that Asta has taken. And I feel like right here we really see him stepping up and surpassing Noct and Yami as the captain of the Black Bulls. Now, granted, after this, I think we're going to see Yami take more of a back role, sort of what we saw with Kakashi and Naruto Shippuden, where after Naruto and Sakura and Sasuke got to a certain level of power, he wasn't exactly relevant anymore. And I'm not going to say that Yami is not going to be a beast, because of course our boy Yami, he's always going to be, top, I would say, 3 captains in the Clover Kingdom. But for right now, because our boy Asta, Noelle, and Yuno, like, they're on a whole nother level, I just can't see Yami being that much useful in the series. So right here we actually see the first interaction as far as like what we see as the viewers between Yami and Noct for the first time in a long time. What I mean by that is, like, so far we've seen flashbacks, but this is actually in real time. We see our boy Yami and Noct interacting, and it's really funny to think that Noct had said at first that he hated Yami, but we all know that was like, Noct going through his little mood swings, as we see that he does have oftentimes, because he has went through a lot. Like, one thing I say about Noct is that he's just as interesting as Yami, and I'm glad that we do see that dynamic. In this panel right here, we actually see Yami and William being freed from Lucifero in his worm form, and we see Noct over here in the corner. You're going to see him kind of posted up in his, I forgot what form that's called, but obviously it's to resist the gravitational force of Lucifero's gravity magic. I'm not sure who exactly saved Yami from falling. Maybe it was himself. I have no idea, but my suspicion is that it's probably not. So overall, I'm going to talk about some of the concerns that some Black Clover fans may have about the series as of recently, because this looks to be sort of like Endgame. Now, obviously, it's not Endgame because there's still so much more information that we have to find out, such as, for example, who's Asta's father, what is the connection between Asta's mother and Lucifero and Libe. We saw a little bit of backstory, but I think there's more to it, where Asta's grimoire actually comes from. Like, there's so much involved here that we still haven't seen. And also, this is just a PSA. Do not listen to YouTubers like Forever World, because I'm going to be honest with you, sometimes he's a good YouTuber and just sometimes he's not. Every other video that he has about Black Clover is either about it failing manga sales and how it could be over and how this feels like his end game is getting canceled. I don't know whether he actually feels this way or he just does it for clickbait, because literally, even though he says he's a fan of the series, which I don't necessarily doubt, it's just, why is it every single time a Black Clover chapter comes out or the manga sales come out, he feels like it's ending? I don't exactly feel like this series is ending, and I feel like this arc could be ending kind of prematurely, so I kind of don't know. But overall, I would definitely say that so far this arc has been up and down, to be honest. However, it does have some high points and it does have some low points, as with every single arc in every single anime series. Nothing is going to be perfect. My hope is that there's something else here, because so far all the villains that we've seen has been defeated. There hasn't been a villain that's really lasted a long time that has gave our heroes a very serious run for our money. So my hope is that next week we have something new from Lucifero, because so far he's been taking L's, and you're supposed to be the king of the devils, but yet you kind of get caught lacking a lot. So anyway, guys, that does it for my review for this week. I might drop a full review of it on Friday. I have to see what my schedule is like, but overall, I would definitely say this chapter is a 10 out of 10. Make sure you guys have a wonderful night, and peace.